All right, Sunday afternoon, basically the third night. We spent most of this morning taking care of Shane's deer, and so now we're going out here to basically pick out a new spot. It was either hunt the spot that Shane hunted the first day and saw some deer, or go into this new area. New area looks promising on the map. We saw some tracks crossing the road, and just kind of looking at the topography back here, we got kind of a big swamp back there, and then some narrow timber, and then some private fields. So we're gonna try and work our way up there and basically pick a spot where we can find maybe some travel between those two, and hopefully maybe find some oak trees along the way, because even along the road here we saw some that were just chock full of acorns. We're trying to basically cover as much ground on this trip as possible so that we have future intel for the next time we come out here. So it should be fun regardless of what happens. Yeah, it looked like on the map there was a good mixture of basically openings and closed canopy and different kinds of trees. I think that's gonna be that's the primary spot right now. We'll go up there and see if we see anything better, but I think based on the sign, how matted down that grass looks, and that trail that cuts through to get to the private land, and the fact that those acorns are just falling like nuts. If we don't see anything better on the route that we're gonna go right back to that spot and set up.
You said those acorns were dropping like nuts.
True story.
Yeah.
We got our second real heavy trail cutting across this grass. And it seems like we got a swamp over that way and some hardwoods as kind of a buffer. And it seems like those deer are going from that area and heading out to this cow pasture. And then in that cow pasture, they have access to grass. There's all these oak trees, obviously, and there's some like alfalfa and stuff like that a little bit further.
Obviously a lot more deer.
There's another rub up there.
A lot more deer in this piece than we found.
Yeah, this is the best deer sign we've seen yet. That thing's big.
Could be one of those community scrapes that happen all year. Old saddle hunter forgot to tie his bow. Now he's got to climb back down to pull it up. Hang on, stand, guys. Are you in this tree and waiting? Ready to go. He tried to get too quick to beat me up a tree. That's why he forgot to tie his bow.
As you can see, Shane and I are set up in different trees. This stuff is really hard to get set up in, but we just kept following this sign down and everything kind of converges here. We were gonna keep going further, but the sign right here was too good to pass up. We've got trails crossing in from the swamp, coming out to this field behind us, which looks like it might be a mix of alfalfa and maybe some native greens. We've got trails coming paralleling right here. We got a big community scrape 15 yards behind me here that looks super fresh. Got lots of tracks, heavy beat down trails everywhere. This is probably the best hot sign we've seen this entire trip. So we got about 3.5 hours before it gets dark. And confidence is high for this sit. one running around and like a doe standing behind her.
Looks like that doe's playing.
It's,
That's all it's playing.
yeah, she's just frolicking around. He just crashed, right?
Yeah, I think that was him falling over. Well, still getting some time. That doe busted you.
I know.
She come right up here.
There's another buck over there, too.
There was 2 good bucks, but he was the biggest.
He was the big one. I didn't even look. I was like, he's a shooter.
Oh, he was good.
When he went that way, I thought we were screwed. That doe was going to bust us.
It came and followed that doe. Yeah, it sounded like it hit rib. That's what it sounded like. It popped through rib. And I think that was him crashing.
Yeah.
Probably hit heart, maybe.
I don't think I had heart. I think it was a little bit high, a little bit back of heart. But I think I got double lung.
He went down really quick.
We knew it. We knew that that sign was too good to pass up. So, in a nutshell, for this hunt, we had planned on going to a spot a little bit further into this land where basically we thought there would be a really good convergence of terrain types, good, transition from swamp to fields. And we were just coming in along this transition line here, seeing some pretty good sign, more than we've seen in some other areas. And we got to this spot right here, and we found a big, fresh scrape, community style scrape. And it had just rained this morning and the dirt was all kicked up. I mean, it's obvious it was fresh. And with the amount of sign that we see with just kind of the grass matted down, it was like, yeah, as good as that other stuff could look, we can't walk past this. The sign is too good. And so none of these trees are really ideal. It's just a bunch of little aspens with branches going everywhere. But it's always just nice when you can go in with your mobile gear on your back, be able to set up on a hot sign as you find it, and then have something like that happen. It's a good feeling.
Well, they were nibbling on they were putting their heads underneath. Maybe they were grabbing grass down below here.
How deep that sucker buried.
I said you're shooting a heavy arrow. How heavy is your arrow?
This one's only 537 grains.
Only 537.
That smells good.
Oh, look at all that blood.
I'm looking back at that lighted knock. We're maybe 20 yards from the lighted knock and we got blood.
What are you filming?
Yeah.
Oh. That's right, we are videoing this hunt.
Little drop of tissue right here.
Yeah.
Got blood?
Check it out right here. So we got that leaf.
Look at all those little bubbles.
I got more up here.
Oh, lots of it.
Lots of bubbles.
Yeah, that's good long blood.
It's up here. Oh yeah, it's starting to.
Oh, look at it. Pouring very good.
Hey Shane, look what I see right up there.
That is a dead deer.
Here, you take my light.
He's dead.
Could not have asked for a better hunt on my birthday this year. And the way that this thing all came together, looking at the maps, figuring out, okay, there's some public nearby, where might those deer be coming from, piecing together a game plan, getting in here, having a spot in mind that we wanted to get to, but then stopping and saying, hey, there's a big community scrape here, this place is littered with sign, we can't pass this up, we got to set up right here. And then sure enough, those deer did exactly what we thought they were going to do. They came in to start staging, we're assuming, and just kind of milling around in that area before hitting that scrape and then heading out over to those private fields. So probably have to buy another cooler because Shane's buck already filled up our cooler, so we'll have to figure that out. But speaking of Shane's buck, I do have a link in the description below to Shane's video. We got his buck out of the woods this morning and we're basically up all last night doing some tracking. So really the first time that we've been able to do this kind of an early season hunt, because normally our seasons in Minnesota and Wisconsin don't start until mid-September. So being able to get out here for this early, velvet hunt, obviously, just an absolute great way to kick off the season.